What's up, guys? So today I have an Ulta box here, Ulta Beauty from ultabeauty.com, ulta.com. This is not a sponsored video. I just ordered from them because they had brand new fragrances from 2021 that I shared with you on previous videos, which I do every month with you guys, talking about up and coming releases. These were fragrances that I was really looking forward to checking out. I was able to order them. Now it's gonna be time for the first impression. Pause the video now, let me know which fragrances you think are in this box, and carry on so you guys can check out the fragrances and check out my first impression on these guys. Let's go. Welcome back to another video. Ulta Beauty box right here. We're gonna check out these 3 brand new releases. These are all designers, by the way, and these were fragrances, again, that I shared with you on the fragrance news or new releases, upcoming releases that I do for you guys every month. So let's see what we got this time around. So we have, let me take the box out of the way. We have the new Polo Cologne Intense 2021 release. We have none other than Bad Boy Lip Parfum. And again, this year is another one of those years that we're seeing a lot of parfums, lip parfums, and cologne intense releases from most designer brands. And last but not least, this one here, I've heard a lot of great things about this fragrance in Europe, and it's going to be Yves Saint Laurent Y Lip Parfum. Now, if you guys follow this channel, you know I'm not a huge fan of the Y collection. I think they're good fragrances. Perhaps the Y EDP is the better one. If you already own Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, or Dylan Blue, it's gonna be in those same kind of veins of blue, fragrances, perhaps with the heavier ambroxan. I think it's okay, but it's nothing that I really, gravitate towards wearing myself. But this one here, I have high hopes for. So let's start here from left to right. I'm gonna leave this one here for last just because I'm a huge fan of the original Polo, so I'll leave this one here for last. Let's crack this one open and see what we get from the Bad Boy Lip Parfum. Which, by the way, guys, let me know in the comments, do you guys like Carolina Herrera fragrances? I think over the past few years, we haven't really seen anything amazing from Carolina Herrera. I think when we think about the brand, going back to the original CH Man, which was great, but now has been completely changed and toned down. It just doesn't last long, but it's a beautiful fragrance. Or CH Man Privé, which is one that got a little hype here, or a lot of hype here, I should say, but also has been reformulated and, from what I understand, perhaps even discontinued. Anyway, let's talk about this one here. So the difference between this one here and the one that came out last year is that the actual bottle is going to be a little bit of a satin finish. As you can see here, the sprayer is going to sit up top here, very similar to that of the one last year, the same shape. And I actually went with the 50 ml instead of the 100 ml just because I didn't know if it was going to be great. So for all of these, I went with the smaller size. Let's take it for a test drive and see what we get out of Lip Parfum Bad Boy. Here we have a Scent Explorer tester strip. Let me, sprayers are actually very strong in this. The smell is actually pretty good, but it's gonna be one of those fragrances that you guys, if you have a large collection, if you like fragrances that have tonka beans, cinnamon, vanilla, and ambroxan, that's what you're gonna get here. In fact, I'm not even getting the cocoa vibe that I got with the original, which was really nice, but I wish it was more amplified. I think, Bad Boy, the original, if it had a stronger cocoa vibe, with maybe a dark patchouli at the base, would have been a great fragrance, but it was really lackluster. And this one here, I don't think it's gonna be that great. In fact, it reminds me a lot of, right now it's starting to transition a little bit. It's actually fresher than I thought it would be. It's reminding me very, very much so of Invictus, Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua from 2016. Very similar to that fragrance, which is not a bad thing, but again, fruity, ambroxan, tonka, vanilla kind of a vibe, similar to Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua. So let's see what the performance is going to be. I'll actually wear this a few times and see if it's worth, purchasing a bottle. Perhaps I'll come back with a full review. You guys know the drill. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a full review on any of these. Just vote, leave me a like, and I'll come back with a full review. Now let's get this one out of the way here. The Lip Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent. Now, the Y collection is widely loved here in the fragrance community. It's hyped by a lot of fragrance reviewers. It makes a lot of top lists. I'm not gonna knock it saying it's a bad fragrance. I mean, Yves Saint Laurent does produce quality fragrances. The box here is going to be dark with the embellishments in silver. Really nice, but very similar to all the other Y fragrances. It's got the Y here in the metal plate you know, throughout the actual glass of the bottle. It is a dark glass. The cap has the YSL insignia at the top. It's a dark, you know, cap. Let's check out the sprayers. Very good. I always say Yves Saint Laurent, Armani, and I think Dior have the best sprayers in the game. Let's take it for a test drive, guys. Okay. Just from the first impression standpoint here, I do like this one more than I like Le Parfum Bad Boy. Has a very predominant orange or mandarin oranges, citrus up top. I do get some dark components that will come to play very soon. Perhaps there's some vetiver in here, which I like. Maybe some patchouli. There's definitely some spiciness going on, but I definitely get a very predominant, you know, oranges, mandarin oranges, citruses up top. Again, just like Le Parfum Bad Boy, I'm thinking this one here could have been a little darker. You know, if I'm thinking Le Parfum, you know, the darkest, you know, the noir edition or whatever. I'm thinking darker components, perhaps, you know, heavier notes in the fragrance, perhaps like a boozy note or a tobacco note, and I'm not getting any of that in either one of these fragrances. No cocoa, no vanilla on this one. Vanilla on this one, on Bad Boy, no vanilla on this one. I'll look at the notes in a second and talk more about it, but from a first impression standpoint, I'm liking the white more than I'm liking Bad Boy. Slightly, I think this could be great for spring and summer up ahead. And fall, I don't think it's heavy enough for the winter time. But let's get this one out of the way here. Cologne Intense Polo from Ralph Lauren. I absolutely love the original. You guys know how much I talk about it, especially if it's a Cosmere edition of Polo from Ralph Lauren, which is the original one. Very pungent tobacco leather type of a fragrance. This one here is following suit to the original. It's got the dark box here with silver embellishments as opposed to the lighter. This is like a hunter green. I think the original Polo has a lighter green with the embellishments in gold. The bottle here, very similar again. Darker green with silver or chrome embellishments rather than the gold that you get with the original. Not looking at the notes, again, I'm gonna go fresh, just try these fragrances on the bladder here. Pretty good sprayer, you can control depending on how hard you push on the actual atomizer. It's nice, but no, this is nice. You know what? I'm getting the vibe of the original, but it's very light. It's like you took the original DNA from Polo Ralph Lauren and you made it into like an aquatic, floral, citrus type of a fragrance. You really tamed down the leather and the tobacco really in the background, and you forward the citrus components, some floral components. It does have the vibe of the original, but a lot more toned down, a lot more citrus and floral, like I said. It's like a floral citrus version of Polo Green. Quite nice. I think it's very fitting to the time of the year right now. Perfect for spring and the summertime, dressier occasions. Before I get into like when and how and all that stuff, obviously I can't give you performance because I haven't tried these on skin. But let me look at the notes from each one of these fragrances real quickly and share with you guys, starting with Le Parfum here from Carolina Herrera. All right, looking at the note breakdown here for Le Parfum, Bad Boy Le Parfum from Carolina Herrera, it talks about this cannabis note. And as the tester strip's starting to dry down, I am really getting that cannabis note. It is more of a green cannabis as opposed to maybe like a smoky cannabis note. I think Acro has a fragrance actually called Smoke, which I do own. Perhaps I'll wear it, you know, in the wintertime and share it with you, you know, more as the weather gets colder, you know, later this year. But this one here has that cannabis note, but more of a green cannabis. It's more of a dry scent, and I thought because it was a Le Parfum, a little darker, I thought that this was going to continue to keep that cacao note, which they totally took it out. There's grapefruit here. That's why I was associating this with Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua. There's a heavy grapefruit, which is now starting to tone down a little bit. Black pepper, leather, and vetiver. I think it's a good fragrance, not great. But the way I would describe this, real simple, it's like a Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua with that green cannabis undertone and perhaps a little leather and vetiver undertone. That's about it. Again, I have to wear it on skin to really get a full-fledged, you know, performance and all that stuff, compliments. But from a, you know, first impression standpoint, it is good. Not as good as I thought. I wish they had maybe paired up the cannabis note with the chocolate, with the cacao. I think this would have been a more intriguing, perhaps more unique kind of a fragrance. Now, let's look at the notes on the Y Le Parfum. All right, the notes on Y Le Parfum, we're talking green apple, aldehydes, grapefruit, and ginger up top. It is very fruity, very spicy, you know, up front, very alluring. It's got that really almost Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme without the mint up top. And then in the middle, you have sage, lavender, geranium, so I can see some herbal components. Not so much a barbershop feel, but like a sweet lavender, herbal kind of a green nuance that will creep in as the fragrance develops. And at the base, like I said, the tonka, olibanum, cedar, and patchouli. So definitely woody green, but nothing to brag home about, to be honest with you guys. It's a good scent, but I was expecting more. But then again, I'm not a huge fan of the Y line anyway. It's not a fragrance line that I wear. There's a lot other fragrances from Yves Saint Laurent that I do enjoy. I think this is more of a jovial, youthful, playful, safe kind of a fragrance. Something that you could wear. Oh, by the way, this one here, I think it's good for maybe, just from a first impression, guys. Remember, I haven't worn this, but I think it's good for maybe like nightwear, maybe date. It's gonna have a very likable character about it, no questions. This is gonna be the more mature one that I'll talk in just a second. But this one here will be great for the office, great for nightwear, great for date as well. But both these fragrances are definitely more youthful, more jovial. Anybody will enjoy this because there's nothing here that you're not gonna enjoy. They're just those kind of fragrances. Those are mass appealing designer fragrances of today. And last but not least, let me look at the notes in Polo Green. And by the way, all fragrances here are going to be Eau de Parfum concentration. Even though this one's called Cologne Intense, it's also an Eau de Parfum. It's called Cologne Intense / Eau de Parfum. So go figure, it's like a marketing thing that they did here. But again, the blast here, the initial blast, it's gonna be very juicy, almost fruity, mouth-watering. I do get a lot of citruses. The notes here, we're talking basil, spearmint, and grapefruit. So again, fruity, grapefruit up top. I don't really get the minty vibe here. It is there, but it's almost like an aquatic tinge, not so much of a minty, like refreshing vibe. It's more of an aquatic grapefruit that I'm getting. Clary sage, violet leaf, and thyme, so there is an herbal component, that you would expect. Patchouli, ambroxan, and vetiver. So this is a fragrance that I really had high hopes for, and I do like it. I think, like I said in the beginning, it is very similar to the original, meaning it's a lighter, much, much lighter version. If you never try the original, you're not gonna know what you're missing. So I think you're gonna like this, and it's even catering to perhaps a new generation of people that wear fragrances. But if you're somebody in your mid-30s or 40s or even older, and you are familiar with the original, this is gonna be very, very faint and very light. If you like something heavier and darker, this is not gonna be it. In fact, none of these will be it. These are lighter, very likable, kind of fragrances, very mass appealing kind of fragrances. But then anyway, overall here, I like these fragrances. I'm happy that I picked them up to share with you guys, but I'm not, overwhelmingly, satisfied with any of these fragrances. They're not like mind-blowing to me, like when I do an unboxing for you guys and I say, well, this is fire. Like when I talk to you guys about Hugo Boss Oud Saffron, which really blew my mind. So when it's something that really blows my mind and I'm really like, enamored with the fragrance, you guys will see because it's gonna come through. These are nice, but nothing here that I'm gonna probably be featuring like an upcoming top video or anything like that. But those are my thoughts on the first impression. I can wear them and perhaps change my mind, but as of right now, those are my initial impressions for these three fragrances that I just shared with you guys. I did purchase them, retail at Ulta Beauty. You guys can check it out if you want to check these out. I'll have the link below. Not a sponsored video. You don't have to buy anything, but I'm just sharing with you. Also, let me know in the comments, have you tried any of these three fragrances? Which one sounds most interesting to you? Which one you guys would like to see a full review? Sound down in the comments. And also let me know what other 2021 releases you guys want me to review and bring forward on the channel, guys. Sound off. Let me know if you appreciate what I do here. Please leave me a like, touch the subscribe button, and of course, turn on a notification bell icon so you continue to get new releases, videos, everything and anything fragrance. I keep you in the know. That's what I do here. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. That's all I have, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, wear what truly moves you. Take care.